Are we ready? Alrighty, then we're ready. Let's go. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Good morning. Cool. I love it. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Pottstown. I'm Linda Kaczynski. I'd like to welcome everyone today, but I'd like to give a special welcome to any guests that we have today. Thank you for taking a chance and taking the time to walk through our doors. You are appreciated. We are a liberal faith community. This UU Fellowship is a place where we come to learn about humanity and being human. We're not here because we figured out life's questions or because we think we got it right. We come to learn more about being in relationship together. How to listen, how to forgive, how to be vulnerable, and how to create trust and compassion in one another. We welcome all who enter our doors, the joyful, the heartbroken, the atheists, the agnostics, and those grounded in a traditional or non-traditional faith, the straight and gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, fans of Kansas City Chiefs, fans of the San Francisco Niners, or even the beleaguered Eagles fans. I think you get it. We welcome everybody. But while we are diverse in faith, ethnicity, history, and spirituality, we are aligned in our desire to make a difference for the good. So first we'll start out with announcements. And I don't know if anybody else has an announcement. I will actually go first. I know that your program has listed Reverend Kim Wilson, and usually every Sunday, the first Sunday of every month, we do have Reverend Kim. As she announced last month, her father passed away, and his memorial service was yesterday out of state. And she determined that probably not going to be able to get here, and if she could, her frame of mind wouldn't be, probably in the right place. So, but I have what she was going to deliver. So, her words are here, her message is here. I'm going to ask for your indulgence as I attempt to deliver it, and I'm going to ask you to squint and picture me a little taller and a lot thinner, and maybe you can see Reverend Kim here. Any other announcements?
Hi, I'm Laurie. Every now and then I get up and I make a little spiel about these comfort dolls, also called Izzy dolls, which are made by knitters and crocheters around the world to donate to children in war-torn countries and poverty-stricken areas. If anybody has interest in contributing or learning, I have instructions here for crocheters and knitters. I think it's a beautiful cause, so let me know.
Hi, I'm Kay, and I just wanted to let everybody know that we're having UU 102 on the third Sunday of this month, right after potluck. It's, I think, the 17th. That is just the history of this fellowship here, and also Marin is going to handle the polity or how we govern. So everyone is welcome that wants to come. Some of you have been through it before, but it's kind of a fun thing to see where we started and how we grew, etc. So everybody's welcome. It's 102 on the third Sunday after potluck.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Clifford, and I do a lot of work in the kitchen. And I'm going to be doing another cooking demo fundraiser on February 24th. It's a Saturday morning starting at 10 a.m. I'll be demonstrating two kinds of fish chowder, a shrimp and corn chowder, and then also a fish and clam chowder. A little different than is popular as far as the production. They're brothier and healthier to eat, and I hope everyone comes. Also, eventually we're going to be doing a fundraiser pancake breakfast. So we're doing a little trial run on pancake production today, so we'll see some pancakes a little earlier too. Thank you.
I have two other announcements, the first of which is I do want to acknowledge and thank in advance Rick Dusky, who is doing technology today. They are always, anybody who's sitting back there is the unsung heroes of us, and today it is Rick. And the sung hero is Carly Schell, our pianist. So thank you to the two of you. The other is, as you know, we normally have a nursery teacher and an RV teacher. Nursery is not here today, so Megan Mickle is the brave soul who is going to be managing all children. So I just wanted to let you know that if you do have children who want to be part of a youth kind of group, we will have that covered. But normally we do have somebody who can manage the younger kids. All right? Yes, Haley says yes. All right. So let's get into the spiritual aspect of this. I ask that if you do have your technology with you and it's set to alert you, put it on worship mode and focus this time on you. So we will light our chalice, and do I have a volunteer to light our chalice? Anybody? Chloe, would you like to light the chalice? I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. The words today are by Kiali Bordner. Come together, again, gather in love, light the fire of hope, build the foundation, commit together, again, gather in truth, light the fire of freedom, build the entryways, continue together, again, gather in community, light the fire of the future, build the shelter. And our opening words are by Leah Onjiri. Here we are together, each facing our different human tasks, or maybe the same central one, to embrace the lessons life delivers, to discern and respond as we grow, to refuse harm and cherish flourishing. May we know ourselves as vessels of infinite possibility, holders of each other's heartaches and tales of joy alike, weavers of one story in which we each have a part. And now we will have our opening hymn, which is in the Gray Book, number 146, Soon the Day Will Arrive. And now is the time for our story for all ages. So I invite anybody of any age who wants to come up and sit on the floor, take a rug, and Megan will read the story. Someone's a little energetic this morning, so I apologize. So this morning we're going to read We Are the Water Protectors. Water is the first medicine. Nakomis told me so. We come from water. It's nourished us inside our mother's bodies as it's nourished here on Mother Earth. Water is sacred, she said. We stand with our songs and our drums. We are still here. The river's with rhythm runs through my veins, runs through my people's veins. My people talk about a black snake that will destroy the land. Spoil the water, poison the plants and the animals, wreck everything in its path. When my people first spoke of the black snake, they foretold that it wouldn't come for many, many years. Now the black snake is here. Its venom burns the land, courses through the water, making it unfit to drink. Take courage. I must keep the black snake away from my village's water. I must rally my people together. To stand for the water, to stand for the land, to stand as one against the black snake. We stand with our songs and our drums, and we are still here. It will not be easy. We fight for those who cannot fight for themselves, the winged ones, the crawling ones, the four-legged, the two-legged, the plants, trees, rivers, and lakes. The earth, we are all related. Tears like waterfalls stream down, tracks down my face, tracks down my people's faces. Water is alive. Water remembers our ancestors who came before us, she said. We stand with our songs and our drums. We are still here. We are stewards of the earth. Our spirits have not been broken. We are water protectors. We stand. The black snake is in for the fight of its life. Now we'll sing the children off to class. It's always so nice to see so many children. And now we have, I believe, a treat from our choir. They will be singing in the bleak midwinter. Thank you, I think that was beautiful. Golf clap to our choir. All right, we'll now transition into starting the more spiritual aspect, and we'll start with some meditation. First, we'll start, you can remain in your seats if we sing Spirit of Life. It's number 123 in the gray hymnal. I believe we also have the words up there. And I believe we will sing it once. Kay approves, we'll sing it once. And as we sink further into meditation, we will have a spoken meditation, and then we will take some time to sit in silent meditation. So as you settle yourself into a comfortable position, I will read the words by Bruce Southworth. O source of life and love, torn by desires to sit back and to enjoy the beauty of the world and to savor the blue skies and gentle days, and by desires to recast the world and to fight its evils, to save the world. Torn by all those things that hurt and confuse and make no sense amid beauty, yet supported by all those things that heal and hold us. Smiles, kisses, mountain vistas, and gentle waves, warm words. We live in mystery. We live torn apart at times, so much glory, so much pain. We live in faith, faith in ourselves and each other. Faith that we can create bonds of the Spirit that proclaim we are not alone. We have much health within us. We can live through the heartache to new life. So for the grace of the world and all the tumble too, this day we give thanks. Amen. Now is the time for our financial offering. Each of us contributes to our congregation just by being here, by bringing your joy and your struggles and your questions and your faith. However, as a self-funded congregation, we do always need money. But we also need volunteers and social justice advocates and friendly smiles and diversity. So if you are ever unable to donate, you are still always welcome here, no questions asked. We are grateful for anything that you are willing to give.
If this is your first time visiting us, we are thrilled by your presence. We don't need money today, maybe later.
Thank you, everyone. Our reading today is by Larry Ward. It's from the book America's Racial Karma. When we look at ourselves in the mirror, we must ask ourselves, truly, is this the America we wish to continue? Do we wish to see the ancient ritual of Black and brown bodies sacrificed on the altar of white superiority repeated again and again? What do we make of what lies before us racially in America? More tragedy or the triumph of new ways of being together? Can there be the daring invention of a new humanness within and beyond race? Healing and transforming the patterns of continuation in our internalized racialized karma depends on a fresher and deeper understanding of our humanity. It is a journey of lived experience, and it is a spiritual matter, not to be confused with religious belief. It is a matter of embodiment of the profound. How might we begin to heal ourselves at these deeper levels of consciousness that still create and maintain the wheel of America's racial karma? That is the invitation of the moment. I believe we now go to hymn 148, Let Freedom Span Both East and West. And just as for those of you who may have not heard the announcement, I know that Reverend Kim Wilson was supposed to be here As I had said before, her father's memorial service was yesterday out of state, and she didn't think she could make it today or be in her right frame of mind. So everything that I am saying are basically her words. So the sermon is hers. So when I use the word I, again, picture me taller and thinner. Of dog whistles and fig leaves, how modern racism hides in plain sight. When I was 20 in 1977, I married a man from the South. I had been briefly introduced to the very different culture of the South when I attended a year of college. But apparently, I had more to learn. Several years into this marriage, my in-laws invited my husband and me to spend a week in Tampa, Florida, at the vacation condo of some friends of theirs, also Southerners. The night we arrived, this couple invited us to dinner at a nearby restaurant. The man took turns telling funny stories, and at one point, our host began telling one of those jokes that at first sounds like a true story, but then you relax into it, knowing there's going to be a punchline at the end. The story involved the super talented football player, Herschel Walker, who at that time was playing for the University of Georgia. Herschel Walker, in case you didn't know, is a Black man. I hung on to every word, smiling in anticipation, and when the punchline came, naive as I was totally unprepared for it. It was so horribly racist that my ears rang. The moral outrage in me wanted to object, to call out this blatant racism, but I felt trapped by a web of Southern manners and my lack of social capital. How would it have looked if I, the daughter-in-law from the North, about to accept a free week at a Florida vacation home courtesy of the joke teller, were to speak up? Not only would I be ashamed for being a coarse ingrate, but I'd be doubly shamed for being an outsider, someone who was incapable of understanding the ways of Southern white people. So I looked down at my plate and said nothing. Racist joke telling in the privacy of white gatherings was, and still is, a form of group bonding, a way of reinforcing white camaraderie and keeping racist structures in place. I suspect that today, if I had been that young woman from the North at that dinner, the joke teller would have saved his racist humor for a time when I was not present. This is because overt racism outside of intimate circles of like-minded whites is no longer as socially acceptable. If we only look on the surface, we can pretend that our Western societies have become more tolerant and that racism is the marginal obsession of the uncouth, as Guardian writer Gary Younge has written. In reality, he says, we have simply become more sophisticated about our prejudices. While I do see some signs of progress, it's a point well taken. A few years ago, a British television station advertised a new program called Chop, in which carpenters would compete to become Britain's top woodworker. The publicity video featured Darren Lumsden, a burly, bald white man with tattoos on his face, scalp, and neck. Some viewers noticed 3 tattoos in particular: an 88 in distinctive German font on his cheek, 23/16 on his forehead, and 14 on his scalp. You can look up the meanings of these tattoos, but suffice to say, they are all white supremacist signifiers. After the TV channel received a number of calls expressing alarm, and they verified the claims, the show was pulled. British philosopher Ariane Shavisi, a woman of color, writes, like harmful bacteria, racism thrives if it can find shady, unnoticed corners in which to fester. Hiding a racist message in numbers allows its true meaning to be denied. Lumsden is a neo-Nazi whose aim is to telegraph his racist beliefs only to those who are supposed to notice them. When confronted by the television broadcaster, Lumsden initially claimed that 88 was the year his father died. He should have had a better cover story because it was soon learned that his father was, in fact, alive. As it becomes less socially acceptable to express racist beliefs directly, a variety of implicit forms of racism have become more common. Those of us who are committed to ending racism need to be able to identify and address its indirect forms, because these insidious words and actions are just as hurtful and harmful and only serve to perpetuate a white supremacist culture. In her essay, What's Wrong with the Dog Whistle?, Arian Shavisi says that trying to eradicate racism by only focusing on its overt expression is like pulling weeds and only getting the top growth. We need to dig down and to get at the indirect racism so we can tear out the roots and make the whole not just matter wither in the sun. Shavisi identifies 4 strategies racists use to conceal their true attitudes: plausible deniability, indirect speech, dog whistles, and fig leaves. Plausible deniability. That is a way of encoding meaning so it can be easily denied if necessary. It's a way for the speaker to build in an escape clause in case anyone calls out the message as being morally repugnant. The "I was only joking" excuse is a common one. Let's say that the restaurant scene I described earlier took place more recently, and I'm now older and wiser, and will level the playing field a little. There is no condo involved, and we're each paying for our own meals. This time, the man doesn't tell a joke. Instead, he looks around the restaurant and, seeing a number of non-white people at other tables, says, "Gee, sometimes I wish we could go back to segregation." I would then engage in what's called interrupting racism. If I said something like, "Wow, that sounds pretty racist to me," the man could defend his statement by responding, "I was only joking." The man's true intention was to gain the approval and validation of the rest of the group, but he misjudged the situation. And instead, he's been accused of having said something unacceptable. Saying "I was only joking" doesn't deny that something offensive was said, but the speaker denies their intention and claims that the comment was meant in jest. Shavisi observes this strategy has the clever effect of leaving listeners on the back foot for not having spotted the joke or for not having a sense of humor. Indirect speech. Indirect speech is another strategy. This is a way of not coming out and saying what we really mean. All cultures have expectations for using indirect speech as a way of being polite or avoiding hurting someone's feelings. If, for example, at the end of the date, a person says, "Would you like to come in for coffee?" we know we're really not talking about coffee. However, an answer of no is easier to deliver and doesn't have the same sting that a direct rejection might. Indirect speech has become an important tool for those in the public sphere. Most public figures want to avoid being marked as racist or anti-Semitic because of the potential for legal challenges or damage to one's reputation. Avoiding that badge of shame, comments Shavisi, is often more important than avoiding actually being racist. So they use various forms of linguistic camouflage. And voila, suddenly it appears we have very few racists, Gary Younge has observed. Dog whistles. Dog whistles and fig leaves are 2 distinctive kinds of linguistic camouflage. Most of us are probably familiar with the original dog whistle, invented in 1876 by the English scientist Francis Galton. This whistle has a frequency that dogs can hear, but humans cannot. Dog trainers can use it, give training signals to dogs without annoying people within earshot. The term dog whistle has come to be associated with racist speech, which is fitting because Dr. Galton is also known as the father of eugenics, the pseudoscience of improving the human gene pool by eliminating inferior people. Galton's ideas were critical in forming the concept of racial purity, which was foundational in the development of Nazism in Germany and in laws against interracial sex and marriage in the United States. Political dog whistles are symbolic versions of Galton's training device. Just like a high-frequency whistle, they play on the idea that they can only be heard by a select group. Shavisi explains dog whistles sound like ordinary speech, but encode political signals which are heard only by those who are primed to interpret their meaning in a particular way. The term was first coined in the 1980s when a polling director in Washington recognized that those being polled about their voting intentions sometimes heard something in the question that the researchers did not intend. The researchers began calling this dog whistle effect. But when it's used in politics, a dog whistle is almost always chosen purposely. Shavisi describes how they work. Dog whistles activate existing associations, some of which are held explicitly and some implicitly. So while those who formulate and utter dog whistles generally know what they're doing and set out to manipulate hearers, many of those who hear them have no idea that particular associations are being activated. Others recognize the indirect meaning and respond to it consciously. Meanwhile, those who don't hold the association may be oblivious to the hidden message. For those who are tuned into the dog whistle, whether consciously or unconsciously, as soon as the speaker tweets the whistle, the hearer completes the association in their mind. One of the commonest dog whistles used by conservatives in political speech is the reference to hardworking families. This one short phrase can convey so much. A politician who uses this dog whistle is saying, I support the institution of traditional heteronormative family. I oppose same-sex marriage, abortion, and non-stereotypical gender expressions. The word families can also denote Christian values, which overtly criticizes non-Christians. And the term hardworking signals opposition to providing support to anyone on welfare. This one word can conjure up caricatures of lazy slackers who refuse to get jobs. And despite the fact that 80% of US welfare recipients are white, welfare is also associated in the minds of many with people of color. So hardworking also evokes the racist stereotype of the undeserving so-called welfare queen. By drawing on these associations, a politician can project a whole multitude of socially conservative, anti-safety net, racist, and xenophobic views. All through a phrase that on the surface sounds completely innocuous and something few people could disagree with. So hardworking families is a dog whistle that has built-in plausible deniability. Inner city and urban are well-known dog whistles that refer to low-income Black people, conjuring up images of danger, violence, and crime, and targeting Black men in particular. Donald Trump is very familiar with the power of dog whistles. He has contended that President Biden is a servant of the radical globalists, a veiled reference to the anti-Semitic trope about the international economic conspiracy. And while Barack Obama was in office, certain politicians repeatedly stated his full name, including his middle name, Hussein. On the face of it, this is harmless, since it is actually his middle name. But it's an Islamophobic dog whistle that expects listeners to associate it with Saddam Hussein, dictator of Axis of Evil country, and invoking danger, brutality, and terrorism. This, despite the fact that Obama is a Christian raised in a non-religious household. Implicit racism is dangerous because studies show that it tends to make people's views more racist. Shavisi explains that implicit racism works by activating the existing prejudice of hearers or viewers without violating their beliefs that they are not racist. Fig leaves. Fig leaves are what I would call the passive-aggressive form of racism. This is a strategy that allows for bald-faced racist statements without running much risk of being labeled racist. It's a clever ploy, one that was named by philosopher Jennifer Saul. A fig leaf is a statement that's made in addition to an overtly racist statement, with the intent of drawing attention away from the offensive content, much as Adam and Eve covered their genitals after eating the forbidden fruit. A racial fig leaf is used to negate, soften, or complicate a racist statement. Once you know what to look for, they're relatively easy to spot. There are three basic varieties. The denial fig leaf usually starts off with, I'm not racist, but, as in, I'm not racist, but you just can't trust. The friendship fig leaf is the claim, I can't be racist because I have so many friends who are, fill in the blank. The mentioning fig leaf. Rather than owning the statement, this fig leaf is mentioned as something someone else said. Donald Trump takes liberal use of the mentioning fig leaf via phrases such as, a lot of people are saying, or I've heard that. A lot of people tell me mentioning fig leaves are powerful because even though the speaker doesn't directly endorse the statement, the fact that they repeat it allows it to propagate, usually when large audiences are involved. Fig leaves tend to work so well because we often confuse intention with impact. We tend to focus on the intention of the speaker rather than the impact of what they said on others. And as Shabisi puts it, if they have convinced us that they are well-intentioned, it seems churlish to call them out or call them racist. Fig leaves introduce uncertainty. And if we try to call the person out, they can always deny the charges and leave us looking like we are the ones with the problem. If we go back to the original restaurant scene and my joke-telling host, he could always claim that he wasn't racist. He was just repeating a joke someone else told him. Having the speaker turn the tables by denying any racist intention is a form of gaslighting. How can we be blamed then for keeping quiet when the situation is so befuddling? This is the most dangerous feature of fig leaves, Shabisi writes. Fig leaves leave instances of racism right out there in the open, relatively immune to challenge. And if we fail to object, its acceptability inches forward. This is important because overt racism is currently making a comeback. So how can we object then? One of the best ways to shine a light on racism, whether it's explicit or implicit, is the practice of playing dumb. Saying, I'm sorry, but I don't understand. Can you please explain it to me? This has the effect of befuddling the speaker and forcing them to reveal the true ugliness of their racist speech. And admitting the truth about oneself is the first step in reflecting on the kind of person we want to be. If we can spot and block fig leaves and dog whistles, we can move together in stemming the tide of those who are pushing the boundaries of acceptability and attempting to normalize racism. Because awareness is power, once these strategies are exposed for what they are, they become like those noxious weeds withering in the sun. The Black Buddhist monk Larry Ward, author of America's Racial Karma, reminds us that to overcome injustice, we need to maintain our moral centeredness and our spiritual resilience, to keep before us what is right and to hold fast to our faith. We have the capacity to end racism and create a new world, but only by responding with courage, with wisdom, and with compassion. May it be so. So now we'll have our closing hymn, which is 1074, Turn the World. I have a few comments here about before we sing it. When Harry Belafonte was the guest star on an episode of The Muppet Show in 1979, he explained the inspiration for the song. Belafonte said, I discovered that song in Africa. I was in a country called Guinea. I went deep into the interior of the country, and in a little village, I met with a storyteller. That storyteller went way back in African tradition and began to tell his story about the fire, the sun, the water, and the earth. He pointed out that the whole of these things put together turns the world around, that all of us are here for a very short time. In that time that we're here, there really isn't any difference in any of us. If we take the time out to understand each other, the question is, do I know who you are or who I am? Do we care about each other? Because if we do, we can turn the world around. and as long as we're doing things in unison, we can give the closing comments together. You have them in your order of service. Go out into the world in peace, have courage, hold on to what is good, return to no person evil for evil, strengthen the faint-hearted, support the weak, help the suffering, honor all beings. All right, now is the time in our service for joys and concerns. And we usually stop the recording at this point. Who's willing to come up and snuff the light? Thank you. And if we read in unison, we extinguish this flame, but not the light of wisdom, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and in our hands until we are together again. And Carla will play our postlude, and after that, coffee and I think pancake trials. Pancake samples. So, Carla.